Hello, welcome to the All or Nothing podcast. Our official sponsors are KR Couriers and Transport Limited. This is a Northwest based courier company delivering all across the UK. They can assist in home moves and removals to large, heavy and bulky items, collections and drop-offs. Fast, safe and reliable deliveries. Please get in touch for a free quote. You'll find all the information within the description. Thank you. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Billy Moore podcast, and today's special guest is Tony Moran. Now Tony's got an incredible story. How are you, so?
I'm good, Bill, thanks for the invite.
You're welcome, mate. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we begin.
In what respect?
So growing up, where did you grow up, and how was life for you? And then we'll start going on the identification.
Born and raised in Kensington.
Okay.
Had a nice upbringing with nice parents. Nice family. Not in terms of the financials. The financials weren't good, but life was good in terms of family structure, good morals, good principles, a lot of love and care and support in some ways and not in others. Had to find your own. What age are you?
Me? I'm 49 now. What are you?
I'm 48.
Yeah,
so we're born in the same era.
73.
73, I was born.
Yeah. I was early, you were late.
I was July the 4th, 73.
Mid. Was it?
Yeah. So, I've got good memories of my childhood. I had a nice childhood. And if you look back at the way things were at that time, it was very different, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It wasn't, we were sort of left to our own devices a bit, weren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we could go out, it was the Thatcher eras, weren't it? It was, you could go out in the streets and no one would be worried about you, and you do your own thing.
When we were our teenagers, years, you mean, yeah.
I think when I was a kid.
Was you? Yeah. I was out and about a lot as a kid.
I was egging and everything, so.
Finding our own way in the world, I'd say, though. There wasn't like all this sort of cotton wool parenting going on, was there?
No, fuck that.
There wasn't like...
You were missing and no one knew where you was.
There was no itinerary about where your kid was going, and then it's 40, and then it's dancing, and it's music, and then it's this, and then it's that. There was none of that in my day, and your day, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, found my own way in the world from a child, really. And found my way into a martial arts gym at 12. And that probably spawned the rest of my life in terms of how the rest of my life developed and the path it took and the experiences I had. And I've had a lot of amazing experiences through the fight game. Got a bit of a Forrest Gump sort of fight story for you. From not realising I can't even fight as a kid, going into martial arts gym. Can I show you something?
Go ahead, show me something.
So, if you look at that, which is me, 13. So that's like a year after me starting martial arts, winning my first British karate title.
Yeah.
So, that triggered amazing.
How old was you, 13?
I was 13.
What belt was you? Did you manage to get to?
I got to black belt, but that was my karate days. But the point I'm making from this is this one experience here at this young age spawned a 30-year fight career. So from the age of 12 until the age of 42, I had a 30-year fight career. So I fought in martial arts, which was karate based, then in boxing, and then in MMA, and then back to boxing. Finally winning a world title at the age of 42.
Incredible.
When things weren't going the best for me.
How mad is it? So, right, I was thinking when you were talking about your karate, right, I was the same age, and it was probably like the Bruce Lee's age and that, and I joined the Shotokan Karate Club.
Red Triangle?
No, in Speak. Dave Parr. Yeah, brilliant.
You from Speak, are you?
Yeah, originally. So I joined that. I wasn't really too keen on it, to be fair, but it sort of spawned the same. Who
you became?
Yeah.
Well, Liverpool's that type of city, though.
It is
a survival-based city, isn't it?
Yeah.
You sort of feel. I'm not saying like it's factual what I'm saying. There's a sort of state of survival that you feel in this city, isn't it? Yeah. In any inner city, I imagine. Liverpool maybe even more so. It's a port city, isn't it? It's a tough city.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different genes in Liverpool, isn't it? A lot of Irish genes, a lot of mixed genealogy in Liverpool. So I'm very aware of who I've become through fighting. Did it help you become aware of who you were? I know your story.
I think it's just, for me, to relate back to you on that, it was sort of like trying to impress upon me dad, and then it became an escape. And it was like the pain in the ring was easy to accept.
I accept that.
I can accept that, but the pain outside of it was a bit like trauma. I couldn't focus. I couldn't cope. Emotionally, I wasn't developing. And the vulnerabilities and the anger were always easier to deal with in a ring. You know, so I think for me, it was that. Because if it was a sport and I wanted to achieve like glory, I'd have probably been training a bit more and went a bit further, but I didn't.
Did you go to Gemini?
I joined with Gemini. It was the St Ambrose ABC when I first started. So it was before it'd been sponsored. You had 2 boxing clubs. You had Speak Boys and St Ambrose.
And what age were you when you started the martial arts?
I must have been about 9, right? I was, because my cousin was a big fan of Bruce Lee.
Big time, man. Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, Van Damme, Bruce Lee.
No, he's later on, Van Damme.
He was late. He was the 80s, but he was sort of coming. He was coming of age, weren't he?
Yeah.
No retreat, no surrender.
Yeah, I remember that.
All those.
Pull them moves off me.
Remember Jim Carter?
No, I remember that.
Oh, mate.
Remember Hong Kong Phoebe?
Yeah, I remember him. Fucking hell, we're going to just start reminiscing now.
Okay, then. So, you saying what you just said then resonates deeply with me, because that's what I felt as well.
Yeah.
I wasn't a tough kid by any means. I wasn't brought up in a family that was tough. I had no brothers. My dad was a very gentleman. So there was no toughness around me, but I was brought up in a tough area with tough kids. So then you're trying to make your way in the world, aren't you? As you're at your teens, you got this gentle nature that doesn't fit in the environment that you live in. So going into the martial arts, to me, is exactly what you said. I was willing to suffer in a martial arts studio to become a more resilient version of myself. That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because I knew what I was going to need for outside. Because I could just sense the change in life from childhood to adult years, and the sense and there's a lot of well-known lads from Liverpool. Everyone will know them. That was their area. I was growing up alongside me, and they ended up becoming quite ruthless for the time in the behaviours, you know what I mean? But I had to live amongst that. I had to sort of work my way through that and survive through that. And I was never a target, by the way. For some reason, I was maybe it was my personality shone through. I've always had a nice personality. I've always been a nice person. I've always gone on with others. So I've got a good human side to me that people seem to respond to. So, but at the same time, you're growing up with nothing, and you want things, don't you? And you see what other people are getting. And then you see that there's a route there possibly to getting that through combat, to winning, through fame, to money, to all the things that we aspire to as kids growing up in poverty-stricken areas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that was my drive. Yeah. That was my driving force.
It's whether you make a poor choice in that as well, isn't it?
In what sense?
And see, you're going on, they're focusing on the boxing and the fame and all that training side of things, but there's also, like, you're living in them areas, there's a lot of temptation with county lines and drug dealing, and
of course,
and
everyone blowing smoke up your ass when you're doing well.
Big fat ego was going on. So, how did you manage then? So,
in what sense?
To avoid all that?
Because of my upbringing and the moral compass I had as a kid, given from my family. And I've got a big family, but they were all good people, really good people.
Yeah.
My dad's family and my mum's family, so a lot of extended family. My mum and dad were good people, but they struggled with poverty, you know what I mean? And all the things that poverty brings to your life, the burdens and the worries and all that. So they were a little bit distracted, my mum and dad. But me grandparents and my aunties, you know what I mean? They were strong, capable, but morally gifted people.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of that influence, I think. So going through my fight career and having all the temptations and all the seductions and all that, I've always had boundaries, if that makes sense. I've always known what was good to do and what was not good to do. That's
good that you did have boundaries, like, because most kids growing up don't.
Oh no, I went off in the party days for a bit.
Yeah.
I know, I enjoyed myself, but I always knew that I had to come back to my foundation. My foundation was sport and competition. So I was doing well. I'd done really well as a karate man. Done really well. I was like a standout champion for many years. I went into boxing. Now, I never had one amateur boxing match, me.
No.
Before I became a pro boxing. Before I became a pro boxer, I should say.
Okay, yeah.
So I didn't have one amateur boxing match. So that sort of went against me in many ways. I had no pedigree. So no one would really give me any opportunities. But I still done well. Fought for an area, a British, a Commonwealth, and 2 world titles as a pro boxer. Without any pedigree as an amateur boxer. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So going from karate into boxing. And then I finished my boxing career, went into MMA, and I've done very well. Got into the top 10 ranked in the UK. Done really well. And this was all at a late age, by the way, from 28 to...
So you're excelling in sport, aren't you?
I was excelling in karate all the way, and I could have continued excelling in karate, but there's no money and fame in karate. Does that make sense? Yeah, I wanted the money, and then I'm training with like Tony, I'm training with Tony Dodson at the time, and Pricey and all them, and I'm seeing the world and the money. That's not at the time for Tony, because he was still an amateur, but you could see what was on the cards for him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you've got to have that amateur pedigree for people to want to take interest in you. Yeah. Because if you haven't got that amateur pedigree, who are you? You've got no backstory, have you? Of course. So, me proving myself from my ability just as a fighter in a boxing ring with not much else, to be fair. I had a great coach, John Smith. And then another great coach in my second boxing career, Fran Arden. Do you know what I'm saying? I know Fran and Bill, yeah. Yeah. So, I've had good guidance, but I haven't had, until I met Fran, the best of coaching. I never met Fran until I was 40 as a coach. I knew him personally before that, but I never got coached properly as a fighter. So I'm not bang that table, so because otherwise it'll pick it up on the mic. I never got coached properly as a fighter till the age of 40 by Fran Arden. So all through my karate career, I had nice people around me, but no one actually. Fran's based in West Derby, isn't he? As a coach in the old fire station, yeah. Isn't it on Derby Lane or something? Just off the top Old of Swan. Top of Derby Lane. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Fran was a very gifted fighter. Yeah, Paul was incredible. Yeah. I know Paul better than I do. No, Paul from the shovel. The place. Yeah, so I've been, he was a big kid, big hands. No Paul well, yeah. Very, a lot of potential. Everyone speaks very highly of him. Yeah, good friend, I like Paul, I do. So, and Billy was a great coach. So when I met Fran, I got given... Billy's his dad, isn't it? Yeah, Billy's his dad. I was given the right coaching that I needed, and that's why I won a world title at 42 under Fran's tutelage. I was saying that John was a great man and a great ally to me, but it was just a different way of working. It's like a George Foreman story, this, isn't it? I don't know. Hey, we're coming to it later. Yeah, but winning titles at that age 42, and I retired massive, then. Yeah. That's all I wanted. I didn't look in my 20s. I wanted money and fame. Yeah. In my late 20s. By the time in my 30s, we've got 3 kids. I've got 5 kids, by the way. So I've got 3 kids, and then the 2 other kids come later. The point I'm making is that the honour in the fight game for me is very important. Yeah. Not the honour and the respect and all the essential things that make you a better person. So I value them things, and I value them importantly. And I try and pass them on to my coach, But at the same time, you're still around people who you equally, in terms of talent, you're living with on a daily basis, and your team and your spars and this and that. Same as the MMA game, I was mixing with some high level athletes. We went on to win major titles in the UFC. And my talent is, in terms of my abilities in the gym, was equal every day. So I wanted the same thing as what they had in terms of the rewards, but I wasn't willing to sell out for it. Do you know what I mean? And you see a lot of behind the scenes. I don't know if you've seen this, but you see a lot of the behind the scenes, less than manly behaviour, I'd say, or people licking asses to get where they want to get to. So the integrity is out the window. People will flush their integrity down the toilet to try and get what they want. Some people get there purely on talent. There's some fighters get there purely on talent. Some fighters will get there on a mix of talent, on a mix of sort of swagger and the ability to speak and Well, you see it all the time, don't you? Do the what's required by the market, man. Do you know what I mean? The hype, yeah. And I'm never one of the man who's going to be speaking like that. But at the same time, I understand the game because I've been in the game so long and I've seen it from all angles, from all sides. No, I've lived a blessed life, and I keep banging the table. I'm sorry, but I've lived a blessed life from being a fighter. A really blessed, beautiful life. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for it. Very, very grateful. And whether you achieve the fame or not, my sort of wish today to come and speak to you, because I'm a coach now of a serious nature.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go down that road. I've got 5 kids, so I told Alex Foreman that I wasn't ready to become a full-time coach. But as things just develop, you just become attached to the people you're training. We've got some really good talent at Alex's gym, Master Gym. Do you know Alex?
Yeah, is that by St. Anne's Police Station?
Yeah, moved. So the Nexum Centre is now where Master Gym is based. Alex put it all together. There's a clinic in there called Concordia Clinic. Amazing. I'm going to invite you down for the hyperbaric. Have you been in one?
Darren was in it the other week, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was, yeah.
Yeah, he showed me the video.
And the man who runs that, Rob's just an amazing man. He's like Jesus.
Yeah, he spoke about him.
He's like an amazing healing man. He's unbelievable. So if you've got any ailments, this is the man who sort of,
Yeah, he said Darren had a bit of the shoulder. Bit of treatments on his shoulder. He said...
He's done a lot of training over the years, Darren.
Yeah, definitely.
As we all have. Our bodies are being broken, haven't they?
Broken, not half.
So I thought my point then. But yeah, so Alex has put an amazing place again, and I love it there. Couldn't be more. Do you believe in creating your own reality to a point?
Of course.
I believe that.
I don't believe that you could. I always say to like the kids that I teach and I'm around that no one's going to pull up in a car and offer you, a life. You've got to get out there and get it for you.
Unless it's a drug deal.
Unless it's a drug deal and county.
That's sadly a lot of what's going on. But I know what you mean. I know the point you're making. I
mean, let's see, what the point I'm making is that you've got to get up off your ass and you've got to meet people halfway, put that effort in. And that resilience, you talked about it before, resilience, perseverance, turning up and believing in yourself. And if you don't believe in yourself, then no one else is going to believe in you. And that's the thing that drove me. I was driven by that.
But did no one believe in you?
No. I was only, right, I'll tell you straight, people used to go, I used to say, I'm going to write a story, I'm going to write a book. You go, alright, Bill, yeah, it sounds.
Just think you're a dreamer.
Yeah, nice one, alright, Bill. And then I pull it out and I go, read that, and I go, oh, fucking hell, I'm going to make a movie.
Were you trying to prove people wrong?
No, I wasn't trying to prove people wrong, but it did feel as if it was getting like, sort of put down, in a sense of like that I wasn't worthy. I always felt that I was worth something. Right? My mate put it in plain terms. He said, there's 2 £5 notes here, Bill. He said, I'm going to crumple one up and throw it on the floor, spit on it, jump all over it. He said, and give you it back. He said, that's still value at £5. He said, it holds its weight. He said, you've been battered, spat on, jumped all over. He said, don't get yourself to a point where you devalue you as a human being. You're still that. You're still valued as that person. And it kind of made sense. I mean, he probably said it better than I did.
It's a nice way of putting it, though.
Yeah, I was like, so all these cliches and all these pearls of wisdom, and I always talk about pearls of wisdom at the end of a podcast, because people have always gave that to me, and it's helped me in life. A little bit of wisdom from others.
Have you had good guides in your life?
I have. Good sponsors, good mentors.
Later on, no.
Later on,
that's
not early on. So
like I struggled as a kid, emotionally. I was very. I want to put the right word in there. I was very spiritually connected as a kid, for a lot of like. I know this always sounds weird when you speak in a Liverpool accent about these things, but I had a lot of like spiritual experiences as a kid. I was connected to something more. Do you know what I mean? A lot more than what you could verbalise at the time. No, I'm not shy about verbalising. No, I go online and speak about these things.
Yeah.
But I had a connection to something that was like that was nice about me. You know what I mean? I knew my own self-worth as a child.
Yeah.
But then I lost it as an older child, and I didn't lose it. It got sort of covered over.
Yeah, well, mine was the opposite. I was on the reverse end of what you're talking about there. I felt, growing up for me, I had no self-esteem, I had no confidence, I wasn't connected to nothing. I didn't
even as a child,
right? So I didn't even feel like I belonged in my own family. I was made, right? I was made to feel as if, you're no son of mine, you're not worthy. All those. So when you're young, you're conditioned to believe in what your dad, so to speak. It wasn't my mum so much. My mum was, she'd done the best for us, but my dad was one for putting you down And I believed in it. It was said to me that much that it was just conditioned in me to feel that I wasn't worthy. I had no, and all that, no confidence. And like going forward in my life and growing up into an adulthood, then yeah, I learned through other people. I remember Sean saying to me, "You're all right, you know, Bill." I thought, what does he want? What's his agenda? What's his motive? Straight away, suspicion kicks in.
Survival instinct.
Yeah, just the shit. And all they're saying is, you know what, you're a nice person. I couldn't accept, you know, that affirmation. What does he want? So if a bird said it, you're like, oh, she must fancy me. It's fucking weird. So it was
don't
weird.
You find in Liverpool though sometimes, because I've worked a lot of doors for a long time,
yeah.
And I found that, and I'm a keen observer of the human beings as you are, and like, again, not just relating to Liverpool, other than cities as well, but if you show people kindness, they look at you in shock. If you show them aggression, it's more normal.
It's comfortable, isn't it?
Understand what I mean?
Yeah.
In certain areas and inner city environments. So, but I've had good guides late on. Never had good guides early on. Do you know Dave Ash?
No.
He's my first martial art guide. And we start looking up to someone and think, I want to be like you. With that type of Alfie Lewis as well. But Alfie at the time, when I was growing up, he had a different persona than he's got now. And then John Lynch, you know John Lynch?
No.
We stoned the clubs, the 051 and Garland and stuff.
The name's familiar. It's
so that family's been a great influence in my life as well. Fighting men, but of good moral fibre, if that makes sense. So like I had the moral fibre growing up, but I never had that tough family element, you know what I mean? I've never had no manly people in my life that were men's men.
Yeah.
Good men, but not the fighting type of men, not the sports type of men. So I've had that moral goodness growing up, learned to fight myself, and then that's got me probably the respect of other men of my ilk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then they've been great guides and assisted me, because they're older than the 60s, and they've got the wisdom of years to help guide me out of places that they might have been, do you know what I mean? So I've had all them benefits later on, and that type of support. But I've had to get there by proving myself without that. Am I making any sense?
Yeah, I'm just, as you talk, and I'm just thinking, I had a life full of mistrust.
You were mistrusting?
No, mistrusting of everyone and poor relationships, and you know, like you're talking about guidance and mentors and people who are offering you support as you're going on in your life. Now, for me, it was like the police weren't there to sort of help you as a kid. You're getting battered by your dad and you're asking them for, you know, fucking help, and they just send you back home. You know, you can't talk to family friends because they share that information back to your mum and your dad, and then they find out, and then so all that sort of made me push people away, and I become isolated. So the names that you're coming up with, I probably would have or should have say, you know, being aware of them, but I wasn't, because I was only aware of my little world, and I was encapsulated and buried under mountains of fucking drugs to suppress all those horrible feelings that I felt about myself.
Well, I worked in the homeless service for 20 years, right? And I've seen from the family unit, from the single male unit to the female, because I worked in all of them over 20 years. And without a doubt, damage starts at childhood.
Yeah, it does.
And most people who are homeless in Liverpool and probably everywhere else, and like I've read studies about American state penitentiaries, and the same applies to Britain and all over the world, I imagine. The damage done to you as a child is what is going to develop you to either go down the victim mentality and become a serious victim. I'm not just talking like a victim mentality. I'm talking about a victim of prostitution, a victim of drugs, a victim of this, you know what I mean? Or you're going to become the aggressor and the violent one, and the one who's becoming a perpetrator. Because you've just been fucked up as a kid, haven't you? And it takes a lot, again, to as you know, you've lived a life. I've lived it to some degree, but nowhere near as harsh as you by what I've read and I learned about you. But still, the truth is that the damage is done in childhood, mostly, I would say.
Definitely, I definitely believe that was in my case, because there was no nurturing. We were a big
Did
family.
you feel loved?
No. I always
any hugs or words of affection?
I'd tell you, the only time I felt there was an intimate moment was when my mum was throwing a nick comb through our hair on a Sunday evening before we went to school on a Monday. There was never any love or we were getting told we were loved. Well, I didn't anyway. I never heard those words.
Have you got kids?
I have now one, and
You different with your child?
Yeah, it's definitely. I was saying this yesterday, Tony. I look at this kid. I think I couldn't harm a hair on his head. I feel so blessed to have him in my life. Tell him he's loved constantly, and I tell him, and I look into his face, and I look into his eyes.
How old is he?
He's 20 months.
Boss, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's just the most happiest kid you could ever see. I think I must have been like that.
Yeah.
At one point. Because I remember, I looked at my dad with rose-tinted glasses, but I always reflect, and sometimes I lie there and I go real far back, and I think, how far
different
back?
era though, wasn't it?
It was a different era, but
that's where standoffish.
But I can remember it was about 2 or 3 maybe, give or take, when my dad came in from work. If he did work, I'm not too sure if he did, but he came in from somewhere, and to me, it was like, wow. And I remember jumping up and shouting him, and he comes out, and he was picking me up and hugging me. But that was the only memory he could ever.
Nice memory.
It was a nice memory, yeah.
But it was the only nice memory.
It was the only nice memory he could ever muster. Summon, so to speak.
I'm not going to dish my mum and dad because I've got some good memories, but I've had to filter through them through the years.
Yeah.
Here's another thing about the fight game that other people might understand if they've never lived that life, is that it molds something inside you, doesn't it? For better or for worse, I would say.
Yeah, it's a solo sport, isn't it?
Some people for the worse, but not many. I'd say the majority of people I've met through the fight, through martial arts, through the boxing, through the MMA. Yeah. Most people have got a good core to them because they've learned about other human beings, haven't they? By mixing, and it's like you said, it's a solo sport. So it's you or no one, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got your coach, you got your teammates. But when you compete, it's you.
Yeah, and you're the one who makes. Yeah.
You've got to look into your own soul on occasions and look into the depths of yourself when you've been there and you don't want to do shit. You know you're gonna have to do it, perform, and you perform in front of your friends, your family, your city. It's massive. And then you got the likes of these guys who are performing on the world stage. You know what I mean? Big, isn't it? And that's where we all want to be at a time. But it's a major pressure, isn't it? Being under them lights. But a blessed one. And if you can get to these levels, it's a blessing. And hopefully when you get to them levels, you can respect what you've achieved. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I do see a lot of fighters who know, and I've known a lot of high level famous fighters, and some of them don't look happy at all. But I'm willing to ask certain questions because I'm a human and I like to speak to other humans about human things. You know what I mean? And a lot of them don't trust people. A lot of them have lost trust because they've had that many arse lickers and that many people trying to take even their own families. Yeah. You know Rampage Jackson, don't you?
No, but he was a
superstar back in the day. He was the UFC champion. He was the Pride. He was a superstar.
Yeah, I know. I feel fucking terrible here. I don't really know anyone.
All I'm saying is, Bill, that's part, but he's a lovely, in my opinion.
Yeah. Have you met him?
Oh yeah, I was one of his training partners. Travelled to his home in America.
Scouser? No?
No, I was mad, but he come and lived there.
See how much I know?
He come and lived in, he was a major superstar, come to live in there. You couldn't know the Wolf Slayer, don't you? The Wolf Slayer MMA Academy.
No.
You know that? Okay. So that was the number one at the time, because it was the first one in Britain, I think. And then...
So only you've got to remember, lads, I was buried under fucking pavement stones for years.
Oh, no.
But anyway, I'm here.
But look, it was a big gym at a big town. I think it was the first one in the UK to really springboard across the globe. You know what I mean? Because it was huge. So it attracted the superstar from America to come and be part of the team. Yeah. That Bisping, the Michael Bisping. Yeah. So he was the figurehead at the time, and then Rampage come, even bigger superstar than him.
I'm learning as I go along.
It was big. Yeah. It was a big time to be at that gym. And again, that was like, I was 34 then. 34, 35, 36.
In your prime, aren't you?
Yeah, but they don't look at it like that. They see it as old.
Yeah.
So
Well, I was fighting in Muay Thai competitions at the age of 34.
But I respect Muay Thai so much, bro, because there's such tough. But you know, Muay Thai, it's a martial art.
It's an eightfold martial arts, and people don't know.
People have got on it in Muay Thai more so than they have in the sports that are there for the market and the money. Muay Thai isn't like that, is it?
No.
You got to love Muay Thai to be a Muay Thai fighter.
You got to be born. I think you've got to be born into it as well.
You got to love it.
Yeah,
because it's out of all the combat stand-up sports, it's the most brutal.
It is.
Plus Burmese boxing as well. That's up there.
See, Burmese boxing, right, and Muay Thai. Now, there was someone, you know, the first Muay Thai boxer he was called Nike and Tom. I remember doing my history on it because I thought I'm going to write about it.
The first what, sorry?
The first, like, combatants who fought in, he was called Nike and Tom, right? Maybe I pronounced it right. But they were fighting, they were at war with Burma, because Burma's not Myanmar, innit?
It was a martial art, martial art, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the Burmese said that the Muay Thai, the Thais were blessed with venom in every limb. Because, you know, this guy, Nike and Tom, he fought the best of the best out of them. I mean, he must have fought a good few and just beat them all. You know, and this was the time. And he won his freedom. If you do your history on it,
in the jails.
Yeah, he won his freedom. No, not in this was like before centuries ago. But this is if you do your history on him, he's up there with, like, you know, respect from the Burmese. I don't even know where that come from, but it's there. Bit of history, probably useless to some people, but
Muay Thai for me, toughest combat sport in terms of striking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Two men agreeing just to stand toe to toe and just with skill, by the way, and precision, but it's brutal, isn't it?
Oh yeah, especially on the legs.
So I don't know how we got onto that point, but I'd be talking about Thai boxing.
I can't remember. I think I'm getting on a bit, aren't we?
I've had a bit of brain damage, me, by the way. I'm still happy I'm compass mentis.
Oh my! Let's just try and work it out. We'll have to get a cryptic fucking crosswords and reverse where we were. I'm fucking round about. But
I think we were talking about the benefits of the fight game and what it can bring to your life.
I remember, like, Rampage. And
Rampage, yeah. Okay, so
we're on a roll here.
I was talking about how sometimes the fame and the money isn't always the answer. Yeah. It can be a blessing and a curse. I don't think it served Conor McGregor too well, to be fair. On occasion, I'm sure people look at it and think, I'd give it, but I seriously wouldn't want my. There's parts of Conor McGregor who I respect greatly for his ability, where he's come from to do what he's done. But I think the fame and the money, it must be so much pressure at that age, mustn't it? When you've come from virtually nothing, it must be like Tyson. He was the same, wasn't he?
See, I grew up
went off the rails, bro. Went off the rails. Do you know what Rico Rodriguez is?
No.
He's one of our coaches, he's the ex-UFC heavyweight champion. Beat Randy Couture. No one, when you mention him to people, most people don't know him. But he was the UFC heavyweight champion back in the early days. Won that, went off the rails. And he'll tell you the truth about it. It can be a very seductive life. You got to have a lot of good people around you if you want to be a championship fighter. I think. Yeah. You have a lot of good foundational people around you. You want the best for you in the truest of ways, rather than they want from you. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what I'm saying. Like, they start mistrusting their own families, or their own families. Though they want to reflect the glory of their brother or their son. You know what I mean? So that's not nice, is it?
Oh, so that just puts them in a lonely place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. Like,
and the arse lickers, everyone who's people are faking your life, but if you're being fake, I've seen a lot of these people acting fake themselves. You know what I mean?
See what Tony writes, and this is what I've come across over the years. Is we're only here for a few short decades, and we're blessed with life. You know, make the most of it. I want to do the best and be a benefit to society and my community, you know, and have all that trust and people being able, and people do come to me and share their stuff, and I'll contain it. You know, I'm not one for gossip, and I don't go and talk about other people's business. Whereas when I was young and I was, you know, I had that air of arrogance and I was emotionally, like, underdeveloped, you know, I thought it was good to talk about other people because I had nothing to talk about myself. If you get me. So that comes with maturity, but some people don't mature.
You're comfortable in your own skin now?
I am. I feel...
You look yourself in the mirror happily?
I do, yeah. I look at myself in the mirror and think, you fucking hell, you're getting
Nice feeling, though.
It is.
No, I mean, when you can look comfortably in
Do you
your
know what,
own
right?
eyes.
Talking about mirrors, right? So when I was in Thailand, I was banged up over there. You only had these little mirrors. I never looked in a mirror for 3 years. I hated myself. I couldn't face the person in that mirror. It was like pulling a slat and just looking at someone else. It was horrible. You know
Like
what was
you're
behind
looking
them?
at a stranger, innit?
Yeah, like looking behind those eyes, and it wasn't me, and that was horrible. It's only it took a long time before I actually sort of accepted who I was and started to like myself. You know, people say we'll love you till you love yourself. Fuck that, mate. I don't even like myself. Never mind.
I think a lot of people are suffering. I think this last 2 year period has highlighted a lot of that for a lot of people. How's the last 2 years been for you? As you're fighting, man, resilience, past life, darkness, coming out of it, realising you're a survivor, got you through this 2 years like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's like being in a Cap D prison. You know what I mean? On home leave.
But I feel like I've seen a few people struggle over the past 2 years. I'm a supporter, man. I'm there for whoever I can be there for.
But I think, yeah,
but
you're
I'm
right.
saying, you understand what life provides you when it gets to a point where it's needed, don't you? Think? I'm glad I've sort of experienced them things. I wouldn't be as comfortable as I am now when other people's heads are falling off around me.
Yeah, you're right, because you know what, you've experienced hardship and isolation and separation and loneliness and years of suffering, and then you get this moment, a couple of years, where everyone's heads falling off, the mental health's hitting the roof, and there's a lot of suicides.
But I bet you're a supportive person, aren't you?
I am.
For a lot of people.
I believe I am, yeah. I'd like to think I was anyway.
And I've seen men similar to us, like Darren, we speaking about before, Alex Foreman, Derry Matthews, who's a great ambassador for Liverpool.
Where are you, Derry?
But he's a humble. That's why I go on podcast. But you should see the work he does.
Yeah.
And I've done work like that for a long time. And I think it's like...
I like Derry, yeah.
There's a girl called Alicia Kelly. Do you know Alicia?
Alicia?
All I'm saying is, there's people out there promoting themselves...
Throw a phone book at me, so...
But there's people out there promoting themselves for... I'm not saying for their own benefit, but, you know, there's got to be a balance between what your intention is behind why you want to help someone. And you're willing to do it without anyone knowing, you're willing to do it only if there's a camera in front of you. Point I'm making is, I'd say the people...
Self-seeking.
But the people from our environment, the backgrounds we've had, growing up in the areas we have, at the times we did, that's important to me. It's the times, the area you were born in, do you know what I mean? When all the technology didn't exist.
Yeah.
And look, we're on a podcast now.
Yeah.
But we like sharing our stories, don't we? There's a part of us as humans that likes to share our stories with others, isn't it?
There is, yeah. I mean, there's a lot...
And I'm hoping I'm coming across in a way that I believe I am a humble person. And I'm not here to big myself up in any sense. I just like sharing a story that might be of benefit to someone. If I coach, who knows me personally, he doesn't even know me personally, because I do get a lot of messages of a kind and beneficial nature that shows me that what I put out into the world has got some level of guidance in it for other people. Does that make sense? So I think people of our stature are doing a lot of good work in this city. And I'm not saying it should be recognised, I'm just saying that while we're speaking openly, there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good things, and a lot of people probably don't even know who they are. Yeah.
I've read, like humility and humbleness, and you know, it was Oscar Wilde, can't remember what the story was, but it was talking about like, no one can give you humility or humbleness. It has to arrive from within. You know, it's within you. You get to a point where, you know, where the gratitude that you feel for, not for a fucking new pair of trainees, or it's just for life in general, you know, just for what's in front of you. Now I see it I've got a different perspective now. I live for my son and my family. I don't live for me and all that self-importance, and, you know, I live for my brother and the benefits that I can give him.
How old's your brother?
He's about 44 now.
Does he live with you?
No, he lives with my mum. You know, she's been his carer all his life. You know.
Still don't speak?
No, he's up in Netherlands now. We left Speak when we were 16, 17.
Has life humbled you? Have you been humbled by life, or have you been humbled by your, like, I find it was my resistance to life that humbled me. Trying to fight against what you don't want and fight against what you feel is like undeserved or feel is like the hardships. But you fight to it because you're a Scouser and you're a fighting man. You think your pride comes into your ego. But like, you lose your way to that. Like, it's only when like you get beaten down enough that you go, you know what, I'm surrendering. But again, even the word surrender in Liverpool, it's like it's frowned upon it. But what you're doing is you're surrendering to, like, you know, let's call it what it is, a higher
power,
higher power. Something's up there.
See, that was a big one for me years ago. So only surrender, right? And I remember, and Rennie, my mate, he's from London, and this is going back, 2004, and I was in a rehab. In recovery, I'd had enough. I was in and out of institutions, prisons. My life was fucking.
This 4 years ago.
This is 2004. This is like a long time ago. So, this is where I was at, and I remember going into this rehab called Barleywood in Rington, just outside of Bristol. Beautiful mock Tudor mansion. I'd spent most of my life in Liverpool on sweat boxes in prisons. And this Cockney kid with no teeth, he's got teeth now. All right, Ren. Said, "You need to surrender."
How old was he then?
He a few years older than me. He was in his 40s at the time. I was just like 29, 30, so I was quite just coming of age. For me, it was like I was still like a teenager trapped in a man's body, because by the time, for me, I stopped using at the age. Well, I stopped using at the age of say 30. At this point, I was 15, going when I started. So I'd stunted my growth for about 15 years. So I maintained the age of a 15-year-old teenager all through my life, the way I behaved, my attitude, my outlook. So when I stopped and he said, "You want to surrender?" I was like, whatever. But when he put it to me, it was surrender, because I had to give up something. I had to put my hands up and go, "Do you know what? This is the one thing that I'm not going to beat, and that's addiction. That's going to beat me down. That's going to beat me." It's like, "Bill, you're going to get in the ring with a gorilla, you're going to keep getting beat up." I went, "What do you mean?" He said, "When you throw the towel in, why do you keep getting back in?" He said, "Enough's enough." He said, "Just surrender." That word to me, and it's like growing up, and like I said earlier on, growing up in those movies, no retreat, no surrender. And it is a strong, powerful word. We don't want to give up, but sometimes we have to, in order to live, but not in a weak-minded way, because that's what people would see that as. "Oh, surrender, we give up." No, it's not. Sometimes, you surrender and you win.
I've got a mentor called Walter from South Africa. He's in his 70s, this man. Don't know how I met him. Just like some angel who arrived in the pool one day and took me under his wing. I call him his angel wing. But he says, "Walk quietly with a big stick." He said, "You can be a man. You can be all the man that you've become through what you've done. Or you're in debt. Yeah. But like, you be a not just a gentleman, you be a gentleman." Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think there's like a fear of being gentle in this day and age, isn't there? Especially in our environments where we've been raised, amongst the people that we have to mix with. But I'm learning that as we get older. I'm learning to be gentle. I've got young kids. I need to be, but I haven't always been gentle. I've been a bit rough around the edges, and I want to soften them out. You know what I mean?
You'll be coming out with all kinds of powerful Yoda quotes here.
No, but you know what I mean? It's nice though.
It is nice, because
I'm not asked anymore. I'm not asked how I'm perceived by the people who may perceive me different. You know what I mean? Than what they've known me as in the past. Yeah. And I like, but I'm liking that transition. I'm not fully there, comfort level yet. I'm comfortable with my own skin, I should say. But like, you're still aware of who you've been and what you've done. I've done nothing bad, by the way. I'm talking about in terms of me fighting abilities, and I'm a respected fighter. I'm a man's man. Yeah. And I'm grateful that I've learned that about myself. But I'm also grateful that I can show a more gentle side as a human being to other human beings, because people need support. A lot of people need support in this day and age. I think you've got to live in a better service to others, haven't you?
Yeah, it's like Muhammad Ali said, my service to, the best service you can do is be a service to other people, isn't it?
He wasn't a service to one of his kids, though, you know. Do you know one of his kids lives in the ghetto?
No.
That shocked me.
That's true, yeah.
Well, I've researched because I had, you know, still got a high opinion of him, but that bit shocked me. It really shocked me, that. And it's a true story, by the way. Grew up in the ghetto.
I've never heard it. No.
One of his earlier children before he got remarried.
Is this when he was Cassius?
I don't know to that point, but if you research the story, it's a true one.
Yeah.
Which I found a bit unusual for a man like him, like.
Yeah,
But it's interesting, isn't it? Nonetheless. That's what time she's crying.
What time are we on now? Oh, we're alright.
We go for time.
We go for time.
So, okay, anything else you want to speak about?
Yeah, so talk about, you know, you were talking about Roy Jones and a few other. So talk about your professional boxing career. Going like let's get from the age of, what was it, 42 when you started when you won the world title?
Yeah, but I started boxing at 27, 28 as a pro boxer.
Without any
amateur.
amateur.
I went to Jimmy Albertina first and asked him to let me turn amateur.
Sunday.
Yeah, but I've got bad eyesight and I couldn't blag the test. He wouldn't let me blag the test, basically. Yeah, good man, Jimmy. He was a soulful man, you know.
Yeah.
Proper soulful man, Jimmy.
Never had the pleasure of meeting him. I've heard some really good stories about him. People have got
an
high opinion of him.
Waterfall.
Yeah.
He was a man of nature, man of like. But I think he did it well. And I mean, I wasn't the closest people to him by any stretch. You know, there's a lot of lads who lived their lives with Jimmy. But I had the blessing of knowing him for a couple of years. Going on some walks with him and his brother and stuff. So we got to know him a little bit behind the scenes. But I had to just turn pro. I had no other option. I could blag the pro test for the eyes. I could get it blagged. Couldn't do it the amateurs. So I had to just turn straight to pro. Because I had the opposition helping me.
So how many fights did you have?
As a boxer, 23.
As a professional, yeah?
Yeah. I was ranked in the top 10 for the area, British, Commonwealth and 2 world titles.
So talk about your
no promoter.
Your record, no promoter?
No promoter.
On your own?
A manager who half give cared about, but didn't really, do you know what I mean? Because I had no pedigree, no one was asked. I was sort of like making that happen for myself.
So even when you were winning, right? So
I made the Roy Jones fight happen for myself as well. Or what was going to be the Roy Jones fight. But one more.
So tell us, so how did you manage, right? How many did you win out of that 27?
I think I lost in total 6.
6, which is decent for a 27.
Not bad for a karate man.
No, and without any amateur pedigree.
I'm not really knowing how to box.
Yeah, so you've done really well going forward. Yeah. So did people start taking notice? Was the knockouts? Was it stoppages? Was it decisions?
I think I had.
Was it a big punch?
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say to you. Without the correct understanding of what you're doing, I was great at karate because I had my legs, but as a boxer, I didn't really know how to transfer my weight effectively.
Stance.
And I'm a big sort. Yeah, well, listen. I think if you can knock someone out on a few occasions, I think that must prove I've got knockout power to some degree.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
but I'm a tall 6'7" guy with an athletic frame. So I'm no genetic freak when it comes to power. Do you know what I mean? But I can generate a lot of power through length. If that makes sense.
You're a big man, aren't you? 6'7".
But you got to use that length in order to make that happen. Am I making sense? And I was always trying to fight on the inside. I was always trying to probably go against what was best suited for me genetically. Yeah, I didn't always fight to that. You're
more of like a Haynes or a Hagler kind of.
Yeah, but you need the correct guidance, don't you? Yeah. The correct coaching. Like if Mike Tyson hadn't met Customato, do you believe Mike Tyson would have been Mike Tyson?
No,
of course he wouldn't. So
he was close in. It's all.
Look, how he. And I love every man and coach who's ever given me any guidance or any shared any knowledge with me. I respect and I appreciate everything. But as I say, until I'm a friend of 40, I wasn't given. I realised I'd never been given correct tutelage as a fighter in MMA and boxing and karate, because it just the way it must have felt for me. I don't know why, but I wasn't coached correctly. But again, So what?
So how did this?
I still had a good time doing it.
How did this world title come about? Because you were homeless, I believe, from what I've read.
Yeah, I'd had a divorce. I had no place. I had no structured or.
So you went through a few struggles.
I had no designated place of my own to live. So
Yeah.
I was couch surfing. I was living here. I was living there. So when you've got no designated home of your own, you're essentially. I wasn't living in doorways. Wasn't living on the streets. I always had somewhere warm to sleep. Understand what I mean? But still, your life's unravelled a little bit.
It's unmanageable, isn't it?
Yeah, you're a little bit chaotic. I was a bit chaotic. I was partying for the first time in my adult life, doing all the things that I'd never done before. Just chaotic. Just lost my path a little bit.
Yeah, which happens.
But my life belt's always been getting back into what I know is going to give me the discipline and the structure to overcome the life difficulties and challenges. That's
important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
so that's another blessing and another thing why I own it. And I've got a soulful respect for the fight game.
Yeah,
just give me everything good in my life has come through being a fighter. The respect I've got as a man, the respect I've earned in as an athlete. Even probably the children, the 5 children I've got, because I've met their mothers through some elements to do with being in a gym or being a fight. You understand what I mean? So
what ages are these?
15, 13, 9, just turned 5 and 3, about to turn 4. Bossed, I love it. Wow. So my main focus in life is being a father, as is yours now. Yeah. But I've had that focus from day one, I think. So they're my 5 street championship belts. Then, you know what I mean? Now, if you want to look at what life's give you in terms of like the things. Trinkets are nice, aren't they? But there's nothing that beats being a father and a fully functioning, dedicated one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's why I'm so grateful that, you know, sometimes I feel as if maybe I'm a little bit old as a father, and I'll miss out on a few things as he's growing up because I won't be as fit or as agile. However, when I look, I think, well, I wouldn't have been in his life from an early age. And it could have set him on a path of, you know, hatred and, you know, resentment.
Imagine the wisdom you'll be able to pass on to him.
Yeah, and now
what's his name?
His name's Albie, old school. Don't even know where that come from, Albie.
Oh, same.
Yeah, it's just lovely. And I just thought, you know what? It's just an incredible.
Life's changing.
It is.
And you feel a bit daft at times because, like, people have been getting born for billions of years, haven't they?
They have, yeah.
But you only know true love when you have children, don't you? And to be, as I say, to be like the best father you can be is an honour, and it's just like it's just like it's important.
It's important.
No, it's for society as well, for you, for your children, for society,
for the future,
for everyone.
Yeah,
raising good children is should be part of our pact as we sign into this life. You know what I mean? That's what we're here for, isn't it? We're here to procreate and to do a good job procreating, I think.
So what happened when you won this title? So tell us a little bit about how you managed that. So from all this, like, your life was a bit unravelled. You know, when you're talking about being homeless, you're not on the streets, but you are in your mind. It's not your place, and it's, you know, and you've got these troubles, and your path's a little bit offbeat, and then you get back involved in the boxing because that's your discipline and that's your structure, which for me is the same. I've always gone back to like physical activity, whether it's weights, whether it's boxing, whether it's
medicine, isn't it?
It is. It's self-esteem. It's the feel-good factor. I always have that, like, I've done something, I've achieved something, you know, I've improved my health just that little bit today by doing something. You know, but then again, I'm fucking living in the fridge after it, which is...
Yeah, but it is all the chemicals it releases in the body. It's all the good things, isn't it?
It is. It's the
become highly addictive as well.
Yeah.
I can become very ego-driven.
Very obsessive.
I can become very... I've been there in all them aspects you're speaking about, but your question was to do with how I've be managing the nonsense.
Yeah, and then
because I knew that was the answer to the problem, as it always has been. Because of everything you've just described, to me that's my only answer. So, it was a tough choice because my body's like under a lot of pressure and my mind under a lot of stress. But I know that's my escape route to commit to that, just commit to a fight camp, commit to, you know what I mean? And because of the Roy Jones opportunity, I got offered the fringe world title, but look, world title nonetheless over 12 hard rounds. And I'm proud of myself, I mean. I'm proud of the path I've chose. I'm proud of the fact that I've maintained that path without deviating with my integrity or me morals, you know what I mean? Because there's loads of times along the way that I could have sold out, type of thing, to maybe get a better chance or a better opportunity, or
Yeah.
Because all these things do matter, by the way.
Yeah, well, you did talk about it earlier.
Know what I'm saying? In the fight game, if these things, like in the football world thing, being with the right people, even though you got the same skill set as other people, can either be the
who you know.
It can be the make or break. There's certain players and certain fighters, looking at two sports that we know well, where they'll always make it because they're so gifted. But then there's others where, there's bits of luck and there's bits of opportunity and there's bits of arse licking and there's bits of this and there's bits of that. So, but the point I'm making is I stuck to my moral path all the way, from the age of 12 to the age of 42, and I never deviated. And I had a world title in karate. I had many domestic British titles in karate. And as I say, I've already said it twice, I think, but I'll say it again. For the area British Commonwealth and 2 world titles as a pro boxer. I was fighting for titles as a top UK top ranked MMA fighter. I was saying with the world's best in every sport that I've ever trained in. I'm an elite level competitor, and I've done it all probably with every obstacle you could probably face in terms of like time, finances, support, sponsorship. You know what I mean? I've had none of that. Done it all myself, so I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
And I've created a good person inside myself that I can pass on to the people who I now coach, but most importantly, my own kids. Because I respect myself. I took a long time to gain that self-respect. You know what I mean?
Fantastic. So what is it that you're doing with yourself today?
Like what?
So
I've been coaching since 5 o'clock this morning. Got an amazing group of clients who I coach and an amazing group of fighters in Alex's master gym that I coach, MMA team. So I feel blessed. I go to work every day feeling absolutely blessed with the jobs I do. And then I work security for the I manage doors for my employer Anthony Lynch in town, and I love that because I mix with such good people. Do you know what I mean? Like the people I work with, I mix with, and the club owners and the team that we've assembled around us, they're just good people. Even in that world, do you know what I mean? You can even create a good life within a world where people would never realise that you can have such quality individuals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brilliant.
A lot of people got no time for the people who work on doors, have they?
No.
But
right.
My experience is much different. And those who know me in the city will attest to what I'm saying, that I'm probably respected as a very courteous, capable man.
You're very grounded. I gather that. You're quite calm. You convey and communicate with other people, especially here today. There's something. You remind me of Mark Scanlon.
Well, me and Mark know each other well as well.
Mark,
he's lived a life.
Yeah, I like Mark, and I've interviewed Mark, and he looked at me constantly, stared at me. I was like, and I didn't feel uncomfortable. It was quite.
He's got a gentle soul inside a great fighter's body.
Yeah, it was an amazing.
He's an amazing athlete as well, by the way.
Oh yeah,
amazing athlete. But he's lived a life. He's an amazing athlete. But he's
and his humility
he's connected to his soul.
He is, yeah. He is.
He's an all-rounder.
He is. And he's.
And do you know what? There's a lot of good people in the city like that.
There is, and hopefully we'll have the money, and so.
Yeah.
Get
I've got a few more to connect with you.
Get me in touch with
Do
you.
you know what Sin Mission is? Do you know the Sin Mission label?
I've seen
all the stuff
I
round
know
town?
what that is, yeah. They're all the ones with all the boss quotes, aren't they?
I'm the poet for this label.
Oh, are you?
I'm the poet for Sin Mission. So inside every Sin Mission garment, there'll be a personal poem. I want to write one about you one day.
Come on, mate.
There's a personal poem written by me. So this is the Aztecs. So I don't know if I'll mention his name. So he likes to be like a bit of a Banksy man. So I won't mention his name. But I'd like to get him on the show. I'd like to get him on your show if he's willing. He's got a great story. But yeah, so every design he does, he's just an amazing thinker. He's such a creative mind, you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
And like when you connect with these people keep me young, because these are all younger than me. Like Scano's younger than me, and all the lads that he's introduced me to, and all the lads we know together, and everyone just blending, aren't they? But like good people, like they're all. I just think goodness is starting to take over.
Yeah,
I think all the bullshit starting to material. I think what it looks like now after 2 years, right? If all you're doing on Instagram is pouting, showing what you've got, trying to big yourself up, I think you look foolish now. I really do. I think you'll end up.
It's embarrassing, isn't it?
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? In this era now, where where the world's going through like such major changes, to be just what did you used the word before? Self-seeking.
Yeah.
If that's all you're doing in a day and age like this, then I think you're going to end up not losing out, but I think you're going to lose a lot of respect with people, because people need more in this day and age.
Yeah,
people need a bit of depth and a bit more.
I've seen a lot of it recently with people like pretending to be, do-gooders, and in reality, they're not. So
I don't mean the do-good a bit. I just mean the general sort of Instagram lifestyle.
Yeah, but that's what I've seen. So
and
that's
and for me kids, I've got 2 teenage daughters, and I'm very mindful of that. But I'm so blessed that they've listened to me guidance so far, and the mums, of course.
Brilliant.
No pouts, no this, no that. You know what I mean? I bribe them. So don't ever pout, and I'll give you a nice little payoff at the end of the year. Yeah. So like just simple stuff, but it matters to me.
That's brilliant.
And it matters going forward for them.
Brilliant. So we're coming to the end now, Tom. Right. Always, like I said earlier on, little pearl of wisdom. What would you say to a young Tony Moran coming through the doors of life, if you could? If you seen him, what would you say to him?
I'd say, see your self-worth. Don't listen to others. Find the people in your life who intuitively, have got your best interest at heart. Love yourself. Be respectful of yourself. Be comfortable looking yourself in the mirror, and be comfortable laying your head on the pillow at night. And you're probably doing a good job. You've done a good job.
With that,
talking to my younger self there, buddy.
And with that, Sony, thank you.
Sorry, mate. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, bro.